Notice of this meeting was given in accordance with the provisions of bylaw 0164B of the Riverside Local Board of Education, which was adopted in accordance with section 1.450 of the ORC and the Ohio Administrative Procedures Act. Dr. Thompson, can you take roll, please?
Kindly. Mrs. Kronensky.
Here.
Mrs. Grassi.
Here.
Mr. Adino.
Here.
Mr. Byers.
Here.
Motion carries 4-0, or, excuse me, it's not a motion. 4 present, 1 absent.
Thank you. Can we stand for the Pledge of Allegiance?
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Do we? So I just want to mention that our 2 new board members, Joe Audino and Jimmy Lee Byers, they have been sworn in, but we are going to do it for the audience during our organizational meeting to make it official. And also Ms. Grassi was re-sworn in also earlier, so. All right. The purpose of this hearing is to review the tax budget for the following fiscal year, 2026. The tax budget provides justification for tax levies to support the operations of the district. The tax budget also provides the county auditor the other sources of revenue for the following fiscal year. The revenues and expenditures listed in the tax budget for the following fiscal year are from the board-approved 5-year forecast for the general fund and projected revenue for the permanent improvement fund based on historical collections and the county auditor's Schedule A. This is projected spending plan of the district for the next school year. However, the tax budget does not provide any spending authority. Spending authority is established through the appropriations of the district. This tax budget hearing allows community input prior to the adoption of the budget. Approval of the tax budget will be considered during the organizational meeting to follow. Dr. Thompson, is there anything you'd like to say about the tax budget?
Just that I want everyone to understand the current, how things are so much in motion. There's a lot of changes that are occurring legislatively. In fact, today was one of them. It wasn't a financial one, but yesterday was the ban on cell phones in schools, for example. But there's just been a lot of legislation, and there's still a lot of pending legislation as it refers to taxes and property taxes and how that might unfold or not unfold. But so what you're looking at, board, is the actuals, which are 24 and 25, and then the 26 and 27 budget years pulled off of our forecast. They'll adjust as we adjust, and then next month there'll be another. It is a 4-year forecast now, not 5, but I'll still continue to go out 5 years just for your viewing pleasure. But what we turn into the state will be a 4-year plan. So everything's right off of where we've checked against current expenditures, made some modifications, and then plugged in the numbers. But you can see that our expenditures are growing as slowly as we can make them grow. And I'm going to, every single time I get a chance, to the point where I hope I become really annoying. School funding is capped and stays flat because of House Bill, do it with me, House Bill 920. Look it up, please look it up, and then it will change your paradigm of why schools are on the ballot. I swear it will if you just take 10-minute Google search, read it, and you understand. So 5-year forecast or 4-year forecast will be coming next month.
Any other discussion? All right, so we'll make a motion to adjourn at 5:20 PM. Can I get a second on that?
I'll second.
Thank you, Ms. Rossi. Dr. Thompson, can you call the roll, please?
Yes, ma'am. Mr. Byers?
Aye.
Mr. Adino?
Aye.
Mrs. Grassi?
Aye.
And Mrs. Krasinski?
Aye.
Motion carries 4-0.
So just so everybody knows, we do have to wait till 5:30. Order. So notice of this meeting was given in accordance with the provisions of bylaw 0164B of the Riverside Local Board of Education, which was adopted in accordance with section 1.450 of the ORC and the Ohio Administrative Procedures Act. First on the agenda is the oath of office for Belinda Grassi, Joe Spadino, and Jimmy Lee Byers. Now I'm worried.
You got it.
Okay.
And would you like your blood sample taken now, or
We can wait.
you will wait?
Yeah,
Okay. Please rise.
Oh,
Raise your right hand.
Oh,
Sorry. Sorry. You didn't want my backside in your picture?
We'll blur it out.
so awesome.
Do you solemnly swear
I do. Belinda Grassi.
that you will support the Constitution of the United States and the Constitution of the State of Ohio, and that you will faithfully and impartially discharge your duties as a member of the Board of Education of the Riverside Local School District in Lake County, Ohio, to the best of your ability, and in accordance with the laws now in effect and hereafter to be enacted during your continuance in said office, and until your successor is elected and qualified?
I do.
I do. Congratulations. Please raise your right hand. Do you solemnly swear
I do. Jimmy Lee Byers.
that you will support the Constitution of the United States, of the United States and the Constitution of the State of Ohio, and that you will faithfully and impartially discharge your duties as a member of the Board of Education of the Riverside Local School District, Lake County, Ohio, to the best of your ability, and in accordance with the laws now in effect and hereafter to be enacted during your continuance in said office, and until your successor is elected and qualified?
I do.
Congratulations. Just so you all know, Mr. Adino is my favorite because he's my height and he's bald. So this guy right here only gets half of it. Raise your right hand. Do you solemnly swear
Joseph Audino.
that you will support the Constitution of the United States and the Constitution of the State of Ohio, and that you will faithfully and impartially discharge your duties as a member of the Board of Education of the Riverside Local School District, Lake County, Ohio, to the best of your ability, and in accordance with the laws now in effect and hereafter to be enacted during the continuance in said office, and until your successor is elected or qualified?
I do.
Congratulations.
all right. Dr. Thompson, can you please call the roll?
Yes, ma'am. Mrs. Krasinski,
Here.
Mrs. Grassi,
Here.
Mr. Adino,
Here.
and Mr. Byers.
Here.
4 present, 1 absent.
Thank you. So So President Pro Tem will request nominations from the floor. They require no second. Once a nomination is made, a request for further nominations is made. If none, a motion to close is in order. This is for the election of officers, beginning with the motion for president.
I'd like to nominate Lori Krenisky for president.
Second.
Are there any other nominations? A motion to approve the president for 2026. Can we get a second?
Yes, we did.
Yep. That's okay. And can you call the roll, please?
Yes, ma'am. Mr. Byers,
Aye.
Mr. Audino,
Aye.
Mrs. Grassi,
Aye.
Mrs. Krasinski.
Aye.
Motion carries 4-0. Congratulations, President Krasinski.
Thank you. Next is the nomination for vice president. So the president pro tem will request nominations from the floor. They require no second. Once a nomination is made, a request for further nominations is made. If none, a motion to close is in order. Any nominations for vice president?
I nominate Ms. Belinda Grassi.
Any other nominations? All right, can you call the roll, please?
We need a
Oh,
motion and
sorry.
a second.
A motion to approve the vice president for 2026. Megan,
I second.
thank you. Ms. Ryers? All right, can you call the roll, please?
Yes. Mr. Audino,
Aye.
Mrs. Krasinski,
Aye.
Mrs. Grassi,
Aye.
Mr. Byers.
Aye.
Motion carries 4-0. Congratulations, Vice President Grassi.
Okay, we're going to establish our schedule of meetings for 2026. This will be the establishment of our regular meetings. I believe that Mr. Patrizzi has put a calendar in our packet, just so everybody has that. We'll start with the dates he highlighted and make sure they work for everybody.
Yeah, so what you're looking at, of course, and great job, Mike. Mike does so many things. I hope you all know that he's wonderful. But in the peach color, it would be just traditionally what's been happening on the fourth Thursday of each month. But in March, that's the first one where we have a little bit of a conflict. He put the green for the 19th, but I've learned subsequently that even the 19th is problematic. But your choices would be the 12th, the 18th, or the 19th. The 12th being, I think, the date that works for everybody. But I know it puts meetings close together, but...
Well, let's start at the beginning, and then we'll make sure okay?
Okay.
Yeah, so January 22nd, are we good with that date?
Yeah.
All right. February 26th. Everybody good?
Mhm.
And then you said the 19th is problematic for
Yes,
March?
the 4th would be the 26th, which is spring
Spring
break.
break.
And the 19th, we'd be missing a board member and a superintendent likely.
Okay. So we can do the 18th,
We,
or what date?
is that a problem? 18th?
For that week, the 20th would only be the only date that worked
Okay.
for me.
Okay.
That would, yeah.
So-
Any concerns with doing the 12th? Oh, I've got to, okay, I'm good. So, yeah, so we'll do the 12th for March,
Okay.
the 23rd for April, 28th for May.
That's graduation.
Oh, so we have to go to the green, sorry, the 21st. All right, everybody good?
Yep.
25th for June, all right. 23rd for July, all right. August, I know there's a couple dates on here because we like to have the meeting earlier in the month due to preparing for the beginning of school year. So are we suggesting the 13th of August?
Right, that way, that'll give us, for example, like transportation, because you have to approve those bus routes, things like that. That'd give us an opportunity to, anything changes from, your July meeting to your August meeting, which is highly likely, it'd behoove us to have a board meeting before the
Okay.
first day of school.
So the 13th?
That-
Okay.
Yeah, that's a long time between meetings, though, from August to September. Will we probably schedule another? I don't remember if we scheduled
We
two in
usually
August.
schedule a second one.
In late August,
Like the
Yeah, like the
27th.
27th.
There's normally 2 in August.
okay, so we could do the 13th and 27th is what I'm hearing.
So our regular meeting will be the 13th? And then a special meeting?
There's
Which one?
typically 2 regulars in August.
We typically do 2 regular?
Typically, we've done them in the
Okay.
past.
I have to look at my
Need that for
prior
higher,
calendar.
Probably, yeah.
Okay.
Okay.
September 24th? All right, October 22nd? Still good. Right, November 26th, November 19th. We will not be here on Thanksgiving, correct?
Not this year.
All right. All right, and then December 17th. So just real quick, just to go back through, January 22nd, February 26th, March 12th, April 23rd, May 21st, June 25th, July 23rd, August 13th, August 27th, September 24th, October 22nd, November 19th, and December 17th.
And August 13th, right? There's 2 August.
August 13th and August 27th. And we'll begin meetings at 6 p.m. Is that good for everyone? As we have this prior year? And we're going to keep the meeting location, the lecture room. If there are any changes to that, they would be noticed. Any questions or any discussion on the schedule of meetings for 2026? All right, I make a motion to approve the schedule of meetings for 2026. Can I get a second?
I'll second.
Thank you, Ms. Grassi. And Dr. Thompson, can you call the roll?
Yes, ma'am. Mrs. Krasinski,
Aye.
Mr. Audino,
Aye.
Mrs. Grassi,
Aye.
and Mr. Byers.
Aye.
Motion carries 4-0.
Next is our standing authorizations for 2026. Motion to approve the following standing authorizations, number 1 through 34, as recommended by the treasurer and superintendent. Can I get a second, please?
I'll second.
Thank you, Ms. Grassi. Any discussion? So these are just authorizations that we make at the beginning of every school year that give our administration and staff the ability to make certain or do certain things for the district. I don't know if there's any questions.
Is there anything new on here? We
made
didn't make
no
any changes, right? Like,
modifications.
okay.
So this is what you've been doing year over year. But for new board members, this probably looks a little weird, but there are times when we might find ourselves where the superintendent needs to hire an employee, and if we waited to the board meeting, we'd go so many days without a teacher, for example, or a custodian, or whatever it might be. So that's just an example of, but most of these things are just mundane,
Conducting business.
just doing day-to-day business.
Any questions on any of them?
Number 19
19.
is not something that is applicable to us anymore.
Never even caught it.
That is
Yeah.
true, good point.
We don't have anybody that could do that in place of the superintendent.
Will you be able to do that in your volunteer capacity?
Sure. I'm so smart, funny. It doesn't matter, we probably should correct that to somebody who has that authorization.
Yeah, actually,
So we should just remove that one.
Yeah.
yeah, for now, and go back to it. Someone else can do it. And the reason you see this on here, for example, is if the superintendent was out of the state, like at a conference or something of that nature, the way our system works, it'll log jam purchase orders because he has to sign, then they come to the treasurer's office and then they get processed. So that's the reason for wanting somebody else to have the authority to do it on a only needed basis.
All right, so we will remove number 19. We'll make consideration or discussion on if that role or responsibility should fall to somebody else in the
Someone
future.
True. Perfect.
Any other discussion? We double checked names. We went through to make sure all the names were updated. All right, so again, we're approving all the standing authorizations excluding number 19. Can you call the roll, please?
Mr. Byers.
Aye.
Mrs. Krasinski.
Aye.
Mr. Audino.
Aye.
And Mrs. Grassi.
Aye.
Motion carries 4-0.
Next is our standing committee appointments for 2026. First committee is Finance, Audit, Personnel. I would like to ask Jimmy Lee to be the chairperson for that committee. All right. A member would be Denise Brewster. Next is our policy chairperson. We'll ask Denise to be the chairperson for that committee. And Jimmy Lee, we'd like to ask you to be the member for that one.
Okay.
Curriculum and programming chairperson, we're going to ask Joe Audino to be the chairperson for that. And Ms. Grassi, will you be the member? Sure. Buildings and grounds and operations chairperson, Ms. Grassi, will you be the chairperson there, please?
With pleasure.
And Mr. Audino, will you be the, thank you. Make a motion to approve the standing committee appointments for 2026. Can I get a second?
I'll second.
Thank you.
Policy is who's the chair?
Denise.
Denise.
Ms.
Denise.
Brewster.
Okay. Mr. Audino.
Aye.
Mrs. Grassi.
Aye.
Mr. Byers.
Aye.
And Mrs. Krasinski.
Aye.
Motion carries 4-0.
All right, next is our standing board liaisons for 2026. We have the Alumni Association liaison. Mr. Byers, I'd like to ask you to be that person. Thank you. Booster Organization liaison, Mr. Ardino, would you be?
Sure.
Thank you. We'll ask Ms. Brewster to be the legislative liaison. And Ms. Grassi, the strategic plan committee liaison. All right.
And you,
I will be working as the business advisory committee. That's not on here, but that, I'll join back onto that committee.
That means Mr. Audino needs to get fired.
That's right.
We'll work out the details we already talked about.
Sorry.
No, you have to stay on the committee.
We'll work out the details.
Sorry.
That's okay.
Can we read through that list one more time, please?
Sure. Alumni Association
Wear a
is
dad shirt.
Mr. Byers. Booster Organization, Mr. Ardino. Legislative, Ms. Brewster. And Strategic Plan Liaison, Ms. Grassi. All right, can we make a motion? I make a motion to approve the standing board liaisons for 2026. Can I get a second?
Second.
Thank you. Call the roll, please.
Mrs. Grassi,
aye.
Mr. Audino,
Aye.
Mrs. Krasinski,
Aye.
and Mr. Byers.
Aye.
Motion carries 4-0.
Next is a motion to approve the tax budget for fiscal year 2026.
I'll second.
Any discussion? All right, can you call the roll, please?
Yes, ma'am. Mrs. Krasinski,
Aye.
Mrs. Grassi,
Aye.
Mr. Adino,
Aye.
Mr. Byers.
Aye.
Motion carries 4-0.
Let me check on one thing real quick. We are allowed to make a statement during this part, right, if somebody, yeah. Mr. Ardino would like to address the audience real quick.
Thank you. It feels unusual being up here without a 3-minute clock running. I'll start with that. But good evening, Riverside, and welcome to our new chapter. Tonight begins our healing process. Tonight begins restoring trust between the board and the people it serves. Tonight begins moving past division and drama and focusing on unity and collaboration. Healing is not instant. Right now it might feel instant, but this will take time. It will take patience and a commitment to do this together. Tonight marks a return to a time when professionals of our schools can focus on their craft. A time when they can come to work knowing that they have an administration, a board, and a community who value their skills and their expertise. To the administration, while it is the responsibility of this board to ensure our standards are high and our outcomes are even higher, that work must never be done through fear or intimidation. It must be done through collaboration, through listening, and through genuine partnership. You are in these roles because of the training, the experience, and the development you've spent years obtaining. It is my hope that you will soon be able to do your work with confidence, without hesitation, without second guessing, and without the constant worry of what might come next. You deserve a board that respects your expertise, values your judgment, and supports you in doing the work you were hired to do. That is the environment I intend to help restore. To our teachers, you are the foundation of this community. My wife and I chose Riverside because of the education you provide. You deserve unwavering support. Support, however, that comes with high expectations we know you strive to meet every day. Your work is not just about lesson plans and test scores. It is about shaping lives. It is about sparking curiosity, building confidence, and helping students discover who they are and who they can become. Every day you walk into a classroom, you carry the responsibility of molding the future, and you do it with dedication, creativity, and heart. You should never feel that your commitment is questioned or undervalued. You should feel empowered to innovate, to challenge, to inspire. This board's role is not to micromanage your classrooms, but to ensure that you have the resources, the respect, and the support you need to succeed. When you stand in front of your students, you do not stand alone. What soon should be evident once again is that you stand with an administration, a board, and a community that believes in you. To our students, you deserve having a board that celebrates your achievements and believes in your potential. We want you to dream big and challenge yourselves. And when you walk across the graduation stage, that you do so knowing that you have a board that stood behind you every step of the way. To our parents and broader community, it is my hope that while you continue to hold your elected officials accountable, you can now take a deep breath and enjoy your day-to-day lives, not having to constantly worry about what comes next. I thank you all for that you have done, keeping everyone on their toes and constantly reminding members of this board, past, present, and future, that I work for you. To those who voted for me, thank you. Your confidence means more than I can express. I can assure you with zero doubt in my voice that I take this responsibility very seriously. As I mentioned before, to those who didn't vote for me, I'm here for you just the same. Your expectations should be high and your voice should be heard. To my fellow board members, I truly look forward to serving alongside of you. Each of us brings different perspectives, experiences, and strengths to this table, And that diversity of thought is an asset when we use it right. I am confident in our shared commitment. I also want to thank my wife Lauren and my 3 beautiful children, Elizabeth, Catherine, and Emily. Your love gives me my drive and determination to succeed with distinction and honor. I will close with this. We have all witnessed the illusion that can surround the life of elected officials, a life that can too easily become centered on authority and control. But in my view, authority is easy and control is cheap. Both require minimal acumen, minimal judgment, and minimal persuasion. But being known for restraint, courage, and character, that takes work. That takes an unyielding moral compass. That takes the kind of leadership people long for. And that is the legacy anyone who sits at this table should strive to leave behind. Riverside, let the healing begin. Thank you.
Thank you.
Yes.
So next meeting announcement, we have a special meeting immediately following this meeting that will begin at 6 p.m. Our next, I'm sorry? Oh, we changed it to 5:45. We'll begin immediately. I will make a motion to adjourn at 5:55 p.m. from the organizational meeting.
I'll second.
And can I ask you to call roll, please?
Yes, ma'am. Mrs. Grassi,
Aye.
Mr. Byers,
Aye.
Mrs. Krasinski,
Aye.
Mr. Audino.
Aye.
Motion carries 4-0.
All right, so we'll call our special meeting to order. Again, notice of this meeting was given in accordance with the provisions of bylaw 0164B of the Riverside Local Board of Education, which was adopted in accordance with section 1.450 of the ORC and the Ohio Administrative Procedures Act. Can you call roll, please?
Mr. Byers,
Here.
Mrs. Grassi,
Here.
Mr. Audino,
Here.
Mrs. Krasinski.
Here.
4 present, 1 absent.
All right, I make a motion to adjourn to executive session. The Riverside Local School District Board of Education hereby recesses into an executive session for the purposes of considering the appointment, employment, dismissal, discipline, demotion, and compensation of one or more public employees and/or officials under Revised Code 121.22G1, and conferring with an attorney for public body concerning disputes involving the public body that are the subject of pending or imminent court action under RC 121.22G3. Upon conclusion of this executive session, the board shall gavel the board back into open session at this location. All matters discussed in these executive sessions are designated to the public officials and employees as confidential pursuant to RC 102.03B because of the status of the proceedings and/or the circumstances under which the information will be received, and preserving its confidentiality is necessary to the proper conduct of the government business. Can I get a second?
I'll second.
Thank you. And can you call roll, please?
Mrs. Grassi,
Aye.
Mrs. Krasinski,
Aye.
Mr. Audino,
Aye.
Mr. Byers.
Aye.
Motion carries 4-0.
The board has returned to regular session at 8:04 p.m. We do have a special report tonight, so presentation from the treasurer, Dr. Stephen Thompson, relating to the permanent improvement expenditures in the Riverside Local School District during fiscal years 2020, 2021, 2022, 2023, 2024, and/or 2025, and the report presented to the Board of Education by the Briscoe Consulting Group during the meeting on December 10, 2025, regarding its financial analysis and related work for the Riverside Local School District. So we'll turn it over to you, Dr. Thompson.
Thank you, Mrs. Krenetsky, board members and community, thank you. And I'm going to go through this pretty quickly because I think the slides really tell the whole story, and then finally a recommendation from the finance department. But after reviewing the reports, there was some questions about Mr. Briscoe and who is he, and what we discovered is that he's works for a district in Texas called Cypress Fairbanks. He's a director of procurement, which is not part of their finance department. He has an MBA and he is a registered Texas business administrator, but he does not hold a treasurer's license. And we've had now someone, the assistant superintendent, and I believe another gentleman inquiring. As our understanding is he's under investigation by their school district. Next slide. So general fund, we'll take a look at the general fund. And again, these were, and I'll just give you just a few highlights. Like, for example, in his report under expenditures, he said that there were 1,442 dormant accounts. So you might open up an account for a reason, and then that reason no longer exists. And basically what he's saying is you're not cleaning that up, you're just letting them compile. And he said there was an $11.94 million budget to those dormant accounts. Well, the reality is there are 21 of those accounts in general fund, not 1,400. It was 1.54 million, and $1 million of it's encumbered. So while not all accounts stay on forever, there could be an account that's dormant but still has activity in it the next year or the year after that. So that was just pretty much an error. And then another one in 2024, he believed we were over budgeted by 3,367 accounts were over budget by $6.54 million in total, and all of them totaled at $33 million. And then when you look below, you can see that there weren't 3,367, there were 4. And the total transactions were $267,000. And they were advances, and advances aren't part of your budget. So it was zero, not the numbers that, not $26 million. So, and you can just keep going on and on and on, and you get the idea. And what we want to make sure is that our new board members are up to speed on this prior to making any kind of vote on it. Next slide, please. So, and again, you see some of the same things on appropriations. The fiscal year, what was appropriated, according to him, what was expended or spent, and he has us in 2020 expending over $12 million than we budgeted. The truth is that that wasn't it at all. His numbers, while his numbers weren't far off, as you can see, not off at all, but $17.8 million of that were carryover encumbrances from the fiscal year before, construction projects. So they're getting done in one fiscal year, but they might not pay out until the next fiscal year. And that's what made it look like we had overspent, and that just simply wasn't the reality. So again, just a lot of errors like that we knew there had to be, because he wasn't pulling data that we knew he would have needed to see to really effectively audit it. Next slide. So then, we've had a lot of talk about our permanent improvement account. Just so you know, we have a permanent improvement account that brings in roughly $3 million a year, and there are very specific limitations as to what those dollars can be spent on. And the name almost tells you what it is. It's there for at least 5 years of life or more. And so Usually, you'll see that in large computer purchases will be one that you'll see it in. Potentially a curriculum purchase, certain curriculum things can be spent out of PI, actually the majority of it, but not all of it. And then construction projects are the ones most people think of, you know, the new roof or, you know, whatever it might be. So we found several errors in the report. His report indicated that you can't buy furniture with it. Yes, you can. We have what's called an owner's rep on our construction projects. That was significantly high number, 470,000, Mike, is that about right? And we use PI money to pay for that. He said, no, you can't use PI money to pay for that. And it was mostly because he's looking at just codes. And the 600 are what you would normally see coming out of PI. And he fixated on those codes, but other codes can come out of PI too. But we think he just took anything that wasn't 600 and said it shouldn't have been spent out of PI, which is not the case. But TDA, that's our architects, their services. We bought land for Riverview, which has been beneficial for us. He said that shouldn't have been used out of PI. That's a legal expenditure out of PI. Buses, laptops, on and on and on. Just because it wasn't the coding that he thought we should have, and I'm not sure exactly how that happened. So to show you how much that really skewed things. So from 2020 to 2025, he said there were 252 transactions. We don't differ much there, 251. You can see the transaction amounts are not far off. But he said there were $4.6 million. If you remember back a little while ago, we were talking about transferring $4.6 million from general fund to the PI. Remember that whole discussion? And this is what it was based on. This is what they were basing it on. Because in the Briscoe report, 4.6 million was not permissible. But as you can see, 251 out of those 252 accounts are permissible out of PI at $4.5 million. So the difference being $60,000 is the difference. And what happened there was it was captured in a curriculum purchase, which is legal. However, there were digital licenses and some consumables that were part of a much larger package that we bought. So we know now we need to really take a look at those and ferret out what we cannot use PI for. And it came out to, so $4.6 million after a couple of days of digging through this data. Again, Mike Patrizi's a rock star. Guy is excellent at his job. And he was incredibly helpful. And it came out to $60,000 that we should not have spent out of PI. It happened 1 year in fiscal year 25. That's what we have for invoices to pay for that incredible report to date, $20,482. So, you know, and I'm not going to dwell on this much at all, but it's important to look at, this is what our 5-year forecast is showing right now, what is left in our revenue. We're in deficit spending. We're not in a deficit, but we're in deficit spending. We're eating into our cash reserves. And you guys are my spokespeople. Why would a district eat into their cash reserves? Because of, thank you, we're getting there. And remember, House Bill 920 freezes your revenue. You know, it freezes it in perpetuity. So the system forces school districts to go back on the ballot. The average in Ohio is every 4.5 years. We're at 10 now. The district has done a phenomenal job of taking a limited amount of resources and stretching them as long as we can. But we're going to need your help, and I also want to be direct and upfront every time I get a chance to say that. We are levy imminent. When exactly that happens and how it's structured, that's a board decision, but it will come. But so these are our cash reserves, and you can see we go into an actual deficit in fiscal year 29. State will not let you go into a deficit. If you do, it's called state receivership, and they come over and take over your district. We're not going to let that happen. But you can see over here, if we would have made that $4.6 million transfer, look what it would have done to our situation. That was one of the several reasons that I had a difficult time signing something that would start this. Okay, thank you. And you can see that's where it's just graphed. We're, both the blue and the red, we're going down in terms of our reserves, but at what pace are we going to do it? Next slide. So these would be the recommendations to the board from our finance department, is that the board rescinds however that needs to be done. I'll leave that up to our good attorney to help us guide that if the board so chooses, but my recommendation would be to rescind the approval of the Briscoe report, and that was done in December of 25, and then do a one-time transfer of those funds to make sure that that's whole, and we just make sure we don't make that mistake again. And so it's not like we didn't learn something from that report. There was one piece of the report that was 100% right and spot on. He said that the Treasurer's Department needs to hire more people. I don't know. Mike, can we just keep pushing on and just manage with what we have? We're going to plug away and manage with what we have. What a sacrifice we're making for the greater good. So that's really the end of my report. You've heard it before, so this is twice, but any questions? All right, thank you.
Thank you. Great. That brings us to public participation. Anyone wishing to address the Board of Education will be recognized by the Board President. Speakers are requested to speak from the podium, identify themselves and their topic. Comments are limited to 3 minutes. Is there any public comment tonight?
Right here.
Here's the podium.
Good evening. I am Sarah, a senior at Riverside. At the last regular meeting, I did want to say these following words, as I had wanted to speak of gratitude among chaos and uncertainty. However, some things don't go according to plan, so here I am. Here to extend my greatest appreciation towards Belinda Grassi and Lori Kraninski for their actions they have taken to protect our district. I want every board member, old and new, to know that we see the ways you approach our school and the way you behave in front of us. Mrs. Kraninski and Mrs. Grassi, you two have been professional in your conduct, inquiring for the people and remaining strong-willed in the face of bullying and unprofessionalism through these past 2 months. Not only does the school board have influence on all of the school, but they have influence among students, and Mrs. Grassi and Mrs. Kraninski have been women who are never afraid to speak up on their beliefs and voice their own opinions in a respectful manner. They live by Riverside's maxim, do the right thing, be a positive influence, and get better every day. And all of us in this community are thankful for your leadership. To Mr. Arduino and Mr. Vyers, welcome to the board. I've seen your actions you have taken even before the new year, and I have great confidence that you will serve the goodwill of Riverside students, teachers, and taxpayers well, alongside Mrs. Grassi and Mrs. Kraninski. I'd like to thank all 4 of you, Dr. Thompson as well, and the community who have stood up for the good of the students. Thank you.
Good evening. I'm Rick Pomplis. I have 3 kids come through the school district, 2 grandkids who not quite school age, but live in the district as well. I want to start by reflecting on the last meeting, which was the meeting that the student referenced. I was there in attendance. It was obviously a very energetic meeting. And at one point during the public conversation, what seemed like a somewhat arbitrary decision to limit the voices in the room was the trigger, right, for some continued and escalated reaction and participation and so forth. Mrs. Grassi, I know you stepped down at one point and kind of asked for a restoration of order that I appreciated and was probably necessary and appropriate at that time. I also think that the energy and the words and expressions that were given that night were absolutely necessary for the community to express what has been a long-standing frustration over the behavior of the board and the lack of transparency, the lack of trust that it generated, the lack of collaboration, unfortunately, that was exhibited throughout the decision-making over time and time again, including during the last stretch of meetings that were, accelerated from the time of the election to the end. So I just, want to say I think that was a cathartic meeting for the community and very energized now. And congratulations and welcome new board members, Mrs. Grassi, for your re-election, because I think we're all excited to recognize that this chapter is moving on. Mr. Audino, the words you said in your address, I think were great. The reestablishment of trust and transparency and collaboration are so essential, and listening to the voice of the community that you serve. Thank you.
Any other public comment? All right, that brings us to Board of Education business. There's a resolution authorizing and directing the rescission of the resolution resolution authorizing and directing the rescission of the resolution accepting the reports prepared and presented by the Briscoe Consulting Group on December 10th, 2025. Can I get a second?
I'll second.
Thank you, Ms. Grassi. Any discussion?
Are we reading these?
If you want to. Do you
I
want
would like to.
Okay.
If
Do
you
you
don't
have the
mind.
Briscoe?
I do.
Great.
I'm just going to read this resolution. Resolution authorizing and directing the rescission of the resolution accepting the reports prepared and presented by the Briscoe Consulting Group on December 10th, 2025. Whereas the Briscoe Consulting Group prepared and presented to the Riverside Local School District Board of Education 2 reports containing its financial analysis and related work for the Riverside Local School District during the special meeting on December 10th, 2025. And whereas the board voted to accept the Briscoe reports during its meeting on December 10th, 2025. And whereas the treasurer and his staff have reviewed the Briscoe reports and concluded that the Briscoe reports contain numerous factual inaccuracies, methodological flaws, unsupported assumptions, and errors that materially affect their validity and reliability. And whereas the treasurer has presented his conclusions regarding the Briscoe reports to the board in open session during the special meeting on January 2nd, 2026. And whereas based on the treasurer's conclusions regarding the Briscoe reports presented to the board by the treasurer in open session during the special meeting on January 2nd, 2026, the board believes that reliance on the Briscoe reports would not be in the best interest of the Riverside Local School District, its staff, students, or taxpayers. Now therefore be it resolved by the Riverside Local School District Board of Education that based on the treasurer's conclusions regarding the Briscoe reports presented to the board by the treasurer in open session during the special meeting on January 2nd, 2026, the board hereby determines that reliance on the Briscoe reports prepared and presented at that meeting on December 10th, 2025 would not be in the best interest of the Riverside Local School District, its students, staff, or taxpayers. Number 2, the board rescinds the resolution passed by the board accepting the Briscoe reports during the meeting on December 10th, 2025. Number 3, the board authorizes and directs the treasurer to complete a written report and deliver it to each board member containing the treasurer's conclusions regarding whether and to what extent monies were improperly paid out of one or both of the district permanent improvement funds during the fiscal years 2020 through 2025. Number 4, the board authorizes and directs that the Briscoe reports not be used, cited, represented, and/or relied upon as an official or authoritative report of the Riverside Local School District. Number 5, this resolution shall take effect immediately upon its adoption. Number 6, it is hereby found and determined that all formal actions of this board concerning and relating to the adoption of this resolution were adopted in an open meeting of this board, and that all deliberations of this board and any of its committees that resulted in such formal action were in meetings open to the public in compliance with all legal requirements, including Section 121.22 of the Ohio Revised Code.
Thank you.
No problem.
Any discussion? All right, can you take the roll, please?
Mrs. Krasinski,
Aye.
Mr. Byers,
Aye.
Mrs. Grassi,
Aye.
Mr. Audino.
Aye.
Motion carries 4-0.
Thank you. Next, we have a resolution authorizing and directing the termination of contract with LLB Resources LLC. Can I get a second?
Second.
Just reading that.
Do I read that one too?
Did Mr. Medina read that one?
Resolution authorizing and directing the termination of contract with LLB Resources. Whereas during calendar year 2025, the Riverside Local School District Board of Education previously approved and entered into a contract with LLB Resources LLC for consulting services, which was subsequently modified in an agreement entitled First Modification to the Consulting Agreement between the Riverside Local School District Board of Education and LLB Resources LLC. And whereas Section 1 of the contract provides the board may terminate the contract for convenience and without cause upon 7 days advance notice to LLB Resources. Whereas the board believes that it is in the best interest of the Riverside Local School District to terminate the contract, and whereas the board desires to authorize and direct the termination of the contract. Now therefore be it resolved by the Riverside Local School District Board of Education that 1, the board hereby determines that it is in the best interest of the Riverside Local School District to terminate the contract LLB Resources LLC. The board hereby exercises its right to terminate the contract between the Riverside Local School District Board of Education and LLB Resources LLC for convenience, and without cause in accordance with Section 1 of the contract. The board hereby authorizes directs the superintendent or treasurer to provide notice of termination to LLB Resources LLC immediately. The board hereby authorizes and directs the superintendent and treasurer to take any and all actions necessary to effectuate the termination of the contract, including execution of any related documents. The board authorizes and directs the treasurer to make any final payments to LLB Resources LLC required under the express terms of the contract, if applicable, consistent with its terms and applicable law. This resolution shall take effect immediately upon its adoption. It is hereby found and determined that all formal actions of this board concerning and relating to the adoption of this resolution were adopted in an open meeting of this board, and that all deliberations of this board and any of its committees that resulted in such formal action were in meetings open to the public in compliance with all legal requirements, including Section 121.22 of the Ohio Revised Code.
Thank you.
Yes.
Any discussion?
I just have 2 questions. I don't know if we ever got any of her documentation on what her plan or communication strategy or report was, and I also would like to follow up and find out what happened to her email list.
So barring different direction from the board, we've held the last 2 invoices. We're getting invoiced $4,000 a month. We've held those 2 invoices, and it was my intent to continue to hold those invoices until she fulfills the contract, which has not been fulfilled. So that's our intent. Ultimately, it's not worth court battle for $8,000. So I'll keep you up to date on how it's transpiring, but my guess is that we'll never see the email distribution list, for example, and we'll probably see a plan that's already outdated, if there is a plan. So that I doubt we see either one, but I would like to, with your support, hold on to those invoices, just because it makes me feel good. And if she produces what she's signed a contract to do, then I'll be more than happy to pay her. But until then, my intent was to hold those last 2 invoices.
Have we, you'll send an email communication, letting her
Yeah,
know we've terminated and
First thing Monday morning,
Thank
she'll
you.
get a little email
requesting the materials that we're
requesting the
looking for.
materials that she's contractually obligated to provide.
Perfect. Thank you. Anything else? Appreciate that. Any other discussion? All right, can you call the roll, please?
Mr. Byers.
Aye.
Mr. Audino.
Aye.
Mrs. Krasinski.
Aye.
Mrs. Grassi.
Aye.
Motion carries 4-0.
Next is a resolution declaring certain prior board action null and void, and further declaring that the Roof Connect proposal dated December 1st, 2025 is null and void. Can I get a second?
Second.
Thank you. Any discussion? You good with?
I don't need, it's a really long resolution.
And again, it's declaring everything null and void per previous vote. If no discussion, then can you call the roll, please?
Yes, ma'am. Mrs. Krasinski.
Aye.
Mrs. Grassi.
Aye.
Mr. Audino.
Aye.
And Mr. Byers.
Aye.
Motion carries 4-0.
So next on the agenda was the board action regarding the appointment, employment, dismissal, discipline, demotion, and/or compensation of Dr. Christopher Rotino if needed. We did spend some time in executive session tonight, and we have spoken to Dr. Rotino, and we have begun the process of restoring him to the role of superintendent. We owe Dr. Rotino, our staff, and our community the diligence to do this the right way. There are a few final details to work through. Mr. McIntyre, we would like to ask you to please take the lead on coordinating those remaining items and bringing the final steps back to the board.
Thank you, I will.
Thank you. I want to say I appreciate everyone's shared commitment to getting this done properly, and we intend to move as promptly as possible. So we want to do this quickly. I will set a teaser out there that there will be a special meeting. Sorry. But there will be another special meeting. But again, we do want to do this as quickly as possible and get Dr. Rotino back behind his desk in the administration office. So, any other comments from the board?
You know what? I think I would like to just apologize to Dr. Rotino and his family for the headache, the heartache, and to the members of this community that we put you through as a result of all of this. So, thank you. Thank you.
Yeah, I had something formally prepared, but it doesn't quite fit. So I'm gonna wing it, and I'm not really good at that. But I first and foremost want to thank the members of the board for your support, your trust, and your action. Leadership at the board level is challenging, and I appreciate it, all of the support and how you're willing to reflect, act thoughtfully, and make sure that this is done correctly. And that means a lot. I've learned a lot over the past month, and one thing I've learned is patience, and I'm going to continue to trust on and continue to work with my patients. But I also am incredibly grateful and humbled by everyone in this room. And first and foremost, I can't thank my wife and children more. My wife's here tonight. My kids are not because I wouldn't let them come. My son does say they call them board meetings for a reason. And for Mr. Ardino's children, I am sorry. But they truly bore the emotional weight of uncertainty with grace and strength. And they remind me every day of who I am, why integrity matters, and why leadership must always be anchored in character. I could not have weathered this without them. I'm deeply grateful to Dr. Thompson for his leadership and to the entire administrative team, both past and present, for all of the support that they provided. And finally, and I will say more on this later as I get a better chance to reflect, but to everyone in this room and to everyone on the internet, everyone who's reached out, the cards and all of that, we speak a lot about one community pursuing greatness and getting better every day, and I cannot think of a better example than this past month of what that looks like in person. It's not just something we say, it's something we believe. I've said to everybody, Riverside is special, and it's a special place to be, and there's no place else I want to be than Riverside. So the opportunity to come back and to do it correctly I'm truly humbled by all of this, and I'm super grateful for it. And please know that I will carry your kindness and trust with me every day, and it's only deepened my commitment to serve the community with humility and gratitude. And thank you all.
Great. So that brings us to our next meeting announcement, January 22nd, 2026 at 6 p.m. Again, except for the spoiler alert that there will be a special meeting. Make a motion to adjourn at 8:37 p.m. Can I get a second?
Second.
Thank you, Mr. Byers. And can you call the roll, please?
Mrs. Krenensky.
Aye.
Mr. Byers.
Aye.
Mr. Adina.
Aye?
Mrs. Grassi.
Aye.
Motion carries 4-0. We are